Now, how to identify points of engagement. We're going to get into some definitions and examples here so that you can see some one-for-one of what engagement looks like for you, and then we'll get into how to quantify that. So we'll start with physical engagement first, especially for most of us, our brains tend to think about physical engagement first over digital, but we will get to digital in a moment. So points of physical engagement, some of the obvious: exhibitions and displays, research and browsing, classes, lectures, and special events, and conversations and communing, which is a word we're going to use here for people who like to go to a museum or library or archive just to be in that place, not necessarily for a research purpose, not necessarily to see an exhibit, but just to be there. So for each of these, there is the person being the point of engagement person being in place for then you as the collection worker to engage with them, sometimes directly, but most of the time indirectly through your work, and encouraging them through these physical points of engagement to also bring with them their dollars and help to increase that income stream. And the results from the physical engagement that we do with them as the collection's caretakers is when we're thinking about the activities, the person coming in can see, read, listen, or learn. There's education and inspiration. There's respite and rejuvenation, and there's connection. So depending on whether it was an exhibit, research, what have you, one or more of these aspects are going to be present, which helps to make up that engagement experience. So we want to think of these aspects as criteria for what engagement looks like. Now, to get into digital engagement for a moment, as we did physical engagement, there's some obvious one-for-one parallels and a few additional. So instead of the physical displays, we have digital displays, which can be provided by our CMS or our website, or both. There's having the collections online and searchable, so CMS database or highlights on a website, or both. There's also the articles and blog posts that many of us create, so content creation based on our collections, lectures, webinars, tours, behind the scenes, live streams, Q&As, etc. All of the activities and, again, content creation that you do based on the collections and based on your work as the collections caretaker. And then the fun and the creative: games, puzzles, educational projects, social media posts, those sorts of aspects, while perhaps not as large and luminous as a digital exhibit, still have important points of engagement to help bring in those revenue streams. As far as results from digital engagement, you'll notice that they are the same as the physical engagement. So I want to point this out, that regardless of what you're doing, whether it's going to result in something physical or digital, it doesn't matter when we're talking about points of engagement, because they're going to result in the same criteria. You are still going to evoke see, read, listen, learn. There's going to be education and inspiration. There's going to be respite and rejuvenation, and there's going to be connection. So regardless of what sort of physical or digital arena that you are in, you are going to have these criteria of engagement.